me, it's always been about that old adage of how do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time. And so I always wanted to teach people that, there may be something big and grandiose in front of you, but that doesn't mean you can't tackle it. You just have to have a plan and then work the plan and do it in small chunks so that you can work towards it. So for me, again, I'm a doer. I naturally love to implement and get things done, but I wanted to teach people that there's nothing that they cannot conquer if they have a vision and a plan. They have everything they need to just keep making those steps forward to accomplishing their goal.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets, the podcast where we talk with successful career coaches on how they built their success and the hard lessons they learned along the way. My name is Davis Nguyen, and I'm the founder of Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, and even $100,000 weeks. Before Purple Circle, I've grown several 7- and 8-figure career coaching businesses myself, and have been a consultant at 2 career coaching businesses that are doing over $100 million each. Whether you're an established coach or building your practice for the first time, you'll discover the secrets to elevating your coaching business.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets Podcast. I'm Pedro, and today's guest is Aarica Smith, a productivity coach who helps entrepreneurs replace operational chaos with clarity using smart systems and efficient processes so they can reclaim time and focus on revenue-driving work. With background as a multi-certified Salesforce consultant, board source certified consultant, and Scrum certified operations professional, Aarica specializes in turning ambiguity into clear, actionable plans. Her work blends strategic thinking, creativity, and disciplined execution, grounded in a strong belief in education and continuous improvement. Welcome to the show, Aarica.
Thank you so much, Pedro. So happy to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you. I'm super pumped. And, Aarica, I always like to backtrack a little, and get back to the origin story. Because every coach has that moment where they look at their life and say, yeah, I guess this is what I'm doing now. Right. So
Yes.
when was that for you?
So I've been in consulting for probably ever since I graduated from college. So I kept seeing the same issues of people asking me to do things, and I have no problem with implementing. That is what I am. I am a doer. So implementing things, moving forward with all the tasks being done, all of the strategies being executed, things like that. But what I started to notice last year in my consulting practice was people were saying to me, thanks so much for the work you've done. I wish I could be like you. I wish I could move like you. I wish I could be motivated to complete the things that I have in front of me. And I realized that while I'm doing this great service of helping people get their task or their tasks done or reach their goals, I wanted to do more to help them feel more confident in being able to do it themselves. So that's why I included the coaching practice in my consulting business. So that way I can actually help people not only put in the systems and processes in place so that they can do what they need to do to get to their goals. That gives them the clarity of what the steps that they need to take to get to their goals. But I also want to give them the confidence of using a repeatable process so that way they can move forward and continue to do this for every scenario that they have going forward.
Okay, I want to highlight one thing real quick because I think this is very important considering your experience, right? So you're a consultant for over a decade, more than a decade, and then you pivoted into coaching, into your own business. So I want to understand what motivated that to happen specifically. Was there a moment and I know you kind of browsed through it, but I want to understand the real desire for Aarica to finally realize, hey, I think I need to find a different path, a different way so I can serve my clients in a better way, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, like for me, it's always been about that old adage of how do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time. And so I always wanted to teach people that, there may be something big and grandiose in front of you, but that doesn't mean you can't tackle it. You just have to have a plan and then work the plan and do it in small chunks so that you can work towards it. So for me, again, I'm a doer. I naturally love to implement and get things done, but I wanted to teach people that there's nothing that they cannot conquer if they have a vision and a plan. They have everything they need to just keep making those steps forward to accomplishing their goals. So it came in the little pieces throughout my life of my friend giving me a call to say, hey, I hate my job. I really want to find something different. And literally by the next day, I have 10 job descriptions in her inbox. And it's not something she hired me to do. It's just something I wanted to do because I was like, I hear you and I want to help you move forward. Same thing. I have a colleague of mine, a past colleague, who was really thinking about for the last, I guess, 5 years. She was like, I have this thing on my heart. I really want to start a nonprofit. And I just keep thinking about it. I just don't know how to do it. So I worked with her within 90 days to set up a nonprofit, right? Just because she has the vision. So she was the visionary person, but needed the tactics and the strategies to move forward. And even most recently in the last year, which is really the catalyst of why I started my coaching business, I had a close family member who's over 60 and she's looking to change her career. So I started instantly rattling off, okay, what are the things you like to do? What are the things you want to keep moving forward with? What does your network look like? So I was building out this strategy for her on the phone. And she was said, Aarica, you can't project manage my life. And that's when I kind of had the light bulb. I'm like, I could do this. So that's really the catalyst that made me say, okay, let's look into what coaching is and seeing the difference between coaching and consulting and seeing if that was something that I'll be able to offer to people.
Interesting. Okay. Now, let me ask you this because you inserted coaching into your business
Mhm.
around a year ago. We were talking before the podcast. So, what I'm trying to understand is did that made a change or an impact in your positioning, or how did you uh, added coaching to your portfolio? You know what I'm asking? It's like
Mhm.
just to trying to understand the big picture. How do we move Aarica from consultant to Aarica hybrids consultant slash coach?
Yeah. So for me, it took a lot of education that I had to go and receive to understand the difference of coaching and consulting. Again, because as an implementation consultant in technology, nonprofit industries, and business industries, I know how to reach my goals, make it happen, right? But I had to learn that coaching was really guidance. It's really providing people with resources, helping them feel that they can move forward with either holding your hand or just knowing that you are alongside of them for their journey without doing the work for them. So I actually went through a certification course on coaching, professional coaching, so that I could understand the difference between coaching and consulting for myself. But throughout that course, I actually learned the difference between being a therapist and a coach, because there's a clear difference, because there are things that I cannot help you with as a coach, but people think, oh, well, I can talk to you about everything. You can, but there are things that I don't want to embark upon in terms of telling you the wrong thing. So I make sure that that difference is clear as well. And then in my actual practice, I do have a consulting arm as well as a coaching arm. And I offer that to my clients to say, okay, well, if you want me to coach you through and be there for you as your person along this journey, I can do that. But if you're looking for me to actually do the work and execute on your behalf, that's on the consulting arm, which is something I still offer. But the coaching is more something that I am pursuing just so that I can help people understand that this is a repeatable process, that the systems and frameworks that I'm teaching you, so that they don't always have to have a coach unless they want to, because I would love to be their coach for a long time. But I do want them to feel more confident in going forward in life with achieving their goals and making sure that they're doing the repeatable steps to know that they can conquer anything.
Interesting. Okay. And after you got rolling, right, specifically in the coaching space,
Mhm.
who are the people that kept showing up? You know, the ones you realize, okay, these are my people. This is the type of people I can help the most with my coaching practice.
Yeah, so a lot of times it is the solopreneurs. It is a lot of times the small business owners that they have this big vision of what they want to do, but they don't have the resources in front of them at this time to do it, or they just don't know how to start, right? So a lot of people who are running multiple businesses, or they're just running one business, but it's just a team of one, they're trying to understand, okay, if I'm working full time during the day on at another company, how do I continue to work my 5 to 9, as you would say, to really build out what I'm trying to build with my business? So then we talk through, okay, here are the things that you need to do. What have you done already? What are the things you need? Are there people we need to hire at this point? Or are there other tools, including AI technology, that can help you streamline the things that you need to do to work faster and more effectively?
Mm. Okay, interesting. Now that's the coaching side, right?
Hmm.
Solopreneurs and all of those that you just told me. Now let's talk about the part nobody escapes, marketing, right? So, and I want to dive into the coaching part, okay? The consultant, we're going to briefly talk about, but I want to understand now that to serve our audience, how do people usually find you and specifically in your coaching business?
So that is still a challenge that I'm continuing to navigate through. The first and foremost thing for me being in the Atlanta area is going outside more, right? It's so, post COVID, we're so used to being inside and being able to work from home and do all the great things like that. But it really is going outside, going to strategic networking events. Notice I didn't say just any networking, right? You really need to be strategic about where you're going, who you're talking to, so that you can be efficient in using your time wisely. But strategic events, going out and really looking for other people in different industries. So if you want to go to a real estate event where it's going to be a lot of real estate agents there or things like that, making sure you're understanding what you're doing, who you're talking to beforehand so that you're prepared. So for me, being in the Atlanta area, I'm trying to go outside more to go to these events to meet people. But on the virtual standpoint, I am learning the different algorithms and the nuances of social media and how that can help me as well. Instagram, Facebook, it's not just the ads, but it's also the content that you have to produce so that you can build your brand and build your voice in that space. And for me, I'm so used to being, again, a consultant. I work in the background, I keep my head down and I keep working through until I hit my goal. I'm not used to putting everything out there in terms of content or people wanting to know, what am I doing today? Well, I'm doing this and I'm putting a bookshelf together so I can set up my virtual stage, things like that. But people want to know. And so this is new space for me because I'm so used to being in the background, but I am learning that building and sharing content is really helping people not only know what you do as a business, but they want to know who you are as a person. What are
Mm.
your beliefs? What are the things that you adapt to? The fact that you may have a personal life, you don't have to reveal everything, but people really want to know a little bit more about you and how you pursue life in general.
That's so true. I think people more often than not, they resonate more with backgrounds and stories rather
Hmm.
than certificates, right?
Yes.
So they want to know who Erica is, what she does. So they want to know if you're cool, you know?
Yes.
That's basically it. If they can connect with you. All right. Now let's talk business for a second, right? So people find you through digital or in-person events, right? The strategic
Hmm.
networking you mentioned. And let's say they resonated with your work. And eventually they want to know what working with you actually looks like, right? So
Hmm.
everyone builds their coaching business a bit differently. So when someone actually becomes a client, Erica, what does that experience look like right now?
Yeah, so actually, there are two great ways to become a client in the coaching business that I have. So, one is the one on one coaching program. And that is one-on-one dedicated time that we have every other week to go through the modules of that I have in my coaching business, which I'll talk about in just a second. The other format that you can look into is the group coaching, and that allows you to be inside of a community, have access to all of the resources, as well as the curriculum that we have in the one-on-one setting. But this allows you to be part of a community of other people that are looking to help support you and help you win. So these are other clients that I have that also want to be in that same space that are looking to have more of a community morale going on behind them so that they know that they're not standing alone. So either format that one chooses, you're still getting the same curriculum. So the curriculum is really a 90-day curriculum that can span to 90 days, which is 3 months to 6 months, or even a 12-month partnership with me. But in, let's say, the 90-day program, we're going to start off with a kickoff. We're going to kick off with a call so that way we can understand a little bit more about each other. But it's really my opportunity to learn more about you. So we do an intake form, do some assessments to really understand what you're looking to do, what your goals are, as well as your expectations of this partnership together. From that call, we're going to start our first 30 days together, which is where we're going to build clarity and the foundation of understanding who you are currently. So, in my consulting practice and just in consulting in general, you really want to understand the current state of someone or the issues that are happening before you can talk about the future state. So the first 30 days, we're really understanding the current state of this individual client, understanding the underlying reasons why they do what they do, whatever and limiting beliefs that they may have that keep them from achieving their best in business or in their professional lives. Once we understand that foundation of who they currently are and what they're looking to do, then we can go into the second 30 days sprint, which is really about focusing on the vision and strategy. In this second 30-day sprint, we're really going to focus on the future state and how do we get there. So if you're looking to move to this area or to this industry, now we are working on building out what that looks like and how we can get there. The last and final 30 days of the 90-day program is really all about execution. So now that we know that we are currently at point A, which is your current state, right? And then we know we want to get to point B, which is your future state. The last 30 days that we're working together is really building the bridge and implementing the strategies we put forth so that way we can get from point A to point B successfully. And then at the end of the 90 days, we do a kind of like a gap analysis to understand, okay, now that we are at point B, let's take a look back to understand everything that we learned, everything that we have provided you with resources, and kind of continue to emphasize that this is a repeatable process. So whether another issue comes up in the future or another opportunity comes up, you need to learn how to do it. We kind of revisit the idea that this is repeatable and kind of re-emphasize that with you, as well as giving you that gap analysis to show you how far you have come in just 90 days, which to me, 90 days is a perfect time for any type of transformation.
So if anyone listening had any shred of doubt that you were actually a consultant, that explanation killed it. It's like as clear as day, the structure from point A to B, time frame. So that's basically a consultant signature move of how they think. Okay, I really like that. That's so clear, so interesting. I love it.
Thank you.
I mean, Aarica, your work seems pretty hands-on. We're talking about the coaching itself. We're talking about the arm and the consulting side. We're talking about marketing, networking, strategic networking, like you said. So, how do you think about capacity? So, don't stretch yourself too thin.
Mm-hmm. So for me, it's about compartmentalizing my schedule. And then if it's not on my calendar, it does not exist to me. And then that's even to all the way down to my kids' things after school and making sure I pick them up on time because one kid has drama club, one kid has this. So it is all on my calendar. And that way I make sure to block the time out for the things that mean the most to me. So it's the same thing with the business. Working in the business is also different from working on the business, right? So you want to make sure that you have time to do both. I want to make sure I serve all my clients in the best way possible, making sure I'm adhering to their schedule to say, okay, well, we're meeting with each other every other week for an hour, and this is what we're going to cover in that hour. So I make sure that it's very clear what the agenda is and what the next steps are from that meeting so that everybody has their marching duties. We go forth. But then I also block time to make sure I'm working in the business, making sure that working on the business. So making sure I'm doing the things regarding marketing and the posts on, all the social media pieces, but also writing the blog posts, doing all the things to make sure that I'm building my brand and building my presence. So that way, again, using my calendar to compartmentalize everything that I'm doing to make sure I'm checking my boxes is really helpful for me.
I just picture myself getting a call from school, visualizing myself in your shoes. And I forgot because I forgot stuff. I forget stuff like the school is calling me saying, hey, you need to pick up your kid. I'm like, this doesn't exist. It's not in my calendar. Yeah. That kid is not mine, right? It's not in my calendar. It's not happening, but I get where you're coming from. So you're very intentional about the calendar itself. So that makes sense. It's like intention with time blockers so that you can be as efficient as you can, right? And make this the most as you can. So that makes perfect sense. Now, Aarica, I'm curious about where you're taking all this, looking ahead. Where do you see the business going? Are you thinking about scaling, hiring? Or is there a next step you're excited about?
So for me, it's really growing the business to being a 7-figure consulting business, right? I want to serve as many people as I can, but in the next 3 years, I'm definitely looking to serve at least 200 people. And that number may seem low to people when they're looking at this and say, oh, 3 years, you could definitely serve more than 200. But for me, it's the quality versus the quantity aspect, right? It could be 200 people at the 30-day mark, or the 3-month, 90-day mark. It could be having long-term partnerships, but it really is, the joy for me lies in the fact that people come in and they say, I can't do this, I don't know how to do this, and then they leave or they finish their duration with me to say, I have a newfound confidence that I can do anything. I built this with you. I'm looking forward to doing this. I can do this myself. And I know that I can have you as a coach going forward, or just to know that I have someone cheering me on. And that means the most to me. So for the next, let's say, 1 to 3 years, it really is growing the business, but it's also really looking to serve more people.
Mm, okay. And of course, whenever we're aiming towards the next chapter, there's always something we're refining in the present. So, what are
Mhm.
you currently trying to improve or tighten up in your business right now?
So right now I'm trying to tighten up my hesitancy. I don't want to say fear. It's a hesitancy of generating more content. Again, I'm so used to being the person in the background, making sure that the speaker has what they need, the curtains are drawn, and the operations are happening in the background, that I forget that people want to know more about me. So, just as I mentioned before, I'm a very visual person, so that calendar is important to me. So, what I'm working on is making sure that I'm being more present, and building content and sharing more content with other people so that they can get to know me, my practices, and understanding the business that I have. So that way it becomes a little more natural to me to be in front of a camera to tell people about my day, what's going on, and things like that. So that is really what I'm working on uh, right now.
Mm. No, I hear the coach now, prior to this, we were talking about with the consultant, but now I really hear the coach. And the reason I do is because coaching is about, at the end of the day, at least in my perspective, it's about vulnerability, right? We're
Hmm.
talking about someone who understands their own limits and wants to make a change. So I love that. Really appreciate it. You shared that way and being vulnerable about the things you really need to work on.
Hmm.
So, but right now, I want to tap into your experience for a second because people listening can really benefit from this. You've been in the game long enough to hear all kinds of business advice, some that sticks, some that really doesn't. So,
Hmm.
what's one piece of business advice you hear all the time that you think, that's so overrated or potentially misunderstood?
Hmm. So it's funny because it's not really business advice, but it's advice that carries me through. And my soccer coach told me this in high school. We used to have to run the mile test in the summers in my hometown of Memphis, Tennessee, and it was just brutal, right? So the mile test is just running continuous laps around a soccer field. And he would always tell us, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. What doesn't kill you make you stronger. So that to me, coupled with the fact that you are not the first, nor will you be the last to do whatever is in front of you, right? So those are two things that I always carry with me, to know that I'm capable of doing amazing things, but also I'm not the first person to do this. So I really love honing in on educating myself on past opportunities, or even people who have done this before, making sure I network or even reach out to people and say, hey, I love following your podcast. I have questions. Is there a way that I can understand something, or even the certification? In the coaching industry, as you may know, there is no requirements that you have to be certified to do it,
Hmm.
right? So, but that was for me, the best way that I could understand how to be the best coach was for me to get my certification. That was a personal decision, but I yearned to have that education so that I could understand that while I may not be the first person to do it, nor the last, I can use the resources that are before me to really understand how past people have done it, or how current people are usually doing it now, so that I can forge my own path and do it the way that I want to. And in results of that, making sure that I am helping the next person and the next generation.
I love that you brought it up, the fact that you don't need a certification to be a coach. But at the
Mhm.
same time, the more I talk with coaches, it feels like it's not about the piece of paper, it's about the journey,
Mhm.
and the tools you get while being certified. Not to mention, And I understand their point of view sometimes. Like, when was the last time a client on a call asked you if you are certified, right? Like,
Mhm.
rarely happens. I don't think I ever heard someone telling me, yeah, they asked me that. So, but at the same time, I feel what you're telling me, right? It's also not just about the journey, but having that mindset of, like your coach told you, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and just getting that goal done and next move and the next one and the next one. So I really like that. And on the other side, what's a piece of advice you wish more people actually took seriously?
Some advice that I want people to take more seriously is that you have everything you need within you to be successful. So you may not have the tools that you have or the education quite yet, because this is even for the younger generations that may be in high school and they don't have a college degree yet. They don't have a master's degree or even just the experience of being a plumber like their uncles or anything like that. But you have the natural ability within you already to do what you need to do to be successful. So that doesn't mean the experience, but what it does mean is that you have the mouthpiece, the literal and figurative mouthpiece of asking questions, reaching out to someone to say, hey, can you be my mentor? I really want to do this, but I don't know how, right? You have a work ethic that you can continue to develop into a stronger work ethic so that you can become the person you want to be. The late nights, the early mornings, the things that you have to do to make sure your goals get done, what you have to get rid of are the excuses, right? Because we
Mm.
all have the same amount of 24 hours in a day. So that's not an excuse. I don't have time. I don't have the resources. We'll get them. And that's really what my coaching business is about, is figuring out what are the limiting beliefs that you have that are keeping you from being your best self, and figuring out how we can move forward to getting them. Well, I don't have the resources. I don't know how to do this. I don't have the grant funding to do this, or I don't have the investors to invest in my company. Okay. But again, you're not the first person to do this, and you're not going to be the last. So you have the drive within you to do what you have to do to get to where you need to be.
Hmm. I really like that. Okay. Getting rid of the excuses. Okay. And if someone listening wants to connect with your follower work, Aarica, where can people find you and connect with you?
Absolutely. So people can connect with me at my website at aaricajsmith.com. They also can connect with me on social media, which is the same thing, Aarica J. Smith, at Instagram, Facebook, as well as on TikTok.
Okay, there were some things you mentioned today that really stood out to me. I would say like that. I would say I how to eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time. I really like that quote. I mean, it's so simple but so true. And the way you started your journey, right? And to helping people get out of their own way.
Mhm.
I think that's so powerful. Being a consultant for over a decade, and now you're like realizing that maybe I can serve people in a different way.
Mhm. Mhm.
I like how intentional you were about the strategic networking. That actually brings my memory to the book I'm actually reading right now, which is Super Connector. So yeah, that's a great intentional idea, to it's not
Mhm.
just about networking, and that's basically what the book tells here. It's to be intentional and spend your energy in a way that will move you forward. Also, the soccer coach, right? I'm from Brazil, Erica. Come on, this
Mhm.
is a religion
Yes.
here. So, come on. What doesn't kill makes you stronger. I love it because that's such an American way to dive into soccer, and how that moved the needle for you and sharpen your mindset so you can actually get the certifications and helped you who you are today, right? To land where you are
Mhm.
exactly right now. The quality over quantity, when we were talking about scaling, I think that's crucial. It's having that alignment, that's something that actually makes sense to you, and not just
Yeah.
chasing a number by a number. It's like, hey, I need to impact more people in a certain way that will actually make a difference. So I commend you
Mhm.
on that. I
Thank you.
also love the hesitancy about generating content. And that's so aligned with who you are, about the consultant, the person who is in the background and now needs to shed some light. So it's stepping in the actual stage, it's not fear, like you said, it's a hesitancy. I love it. Getting rid of the excuses, right? We gotta all do that. I mean, I have to do that. I am pretty aware that I need some help with that, definitely. So Aarica, I appreciate what you do. I appreciate you being here and sharing so openly today. Okay, it was great having you on.
Thank you so much for having me. Look forward to connecting again.
That's it for this episode of Career Coaching Secrets. If you enjoyed this conversation, you can subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this episode to catch future episodes. This podcast was brought to you by Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, or even $100,000 weeks, all without burning out and making sure that you're making the impact and having the life that you want. To learn more about our community and how we can help you, visit joinpurplecircle.com.